Happy Hour is celebrating Wall Street. We've moved away from the bar to mingle with the big players at the stock exchange. Fox Business is throwing a party, and it's time for Happy Hour.
We're going to try to make sense of all of it for you. And joining us to help us do that is UrbanAmerica CEO Richmond McCoy. Welcome back to Happy Hour. Good to see you. Welcome to our party.
Wow, what a great party.
Indeed. And, you know, this is a critical day because we had Mort Zuckerman on the show in the first hour, and he was saying, Richmond, basically that all of this starts from the housing market. This is your area.
Yes.
You know, is it true? Do you also agree that the housing market needs to come back to resolve all of this chaos?
Yes, it absolutely does.
And then where do we get there?
Well, you know, there's a lot of talk about a government bailout for mortgage holders, for the homeowners, and for the banks. And I really don't think a bailout is the way to go.
Well, do you think it would even help? I mean, that's what we've been saying from day one on this show, that the hundreds of billions of dollars that they're taking from the renters and the poor people to prop up the richest people in America who own real estate, it doesn't even stop the decline. The prices are down 25% since they started trying to do it.
Absolutely, Cody. So a bailout only shifts the burden from the homeowner and the banks back to the government. And I don't think that's the way to go. I think there's another solution. I think a good solution would be to get the mortgage companies to freeze the rates where they are today for a 3-year period. Yes?
But that's what the government is talking about. There's nothing right now on the table there that's a bailout in the true definition of the word. They're talking about, hey, let's set up this housing program where we can try to encourage banks not to foreclose, to maybe renegotiate loans. There's no government money or taxpayer money involved in a bailout.
Absolutely.
So they're doing that right now, Richmond, but it's not working 100%. We're still in this mess.
Well, that really needs to get put in place. That's the only solution. There's not a cash solution that's going to come from someone to solve this problem. And there's no liquidity in the market. That's the challenge, the big disconnect between the buyers and the sellers. You asked, where did this start? It really started with the subprime mortgages. When you look at Countrywide today, they got indicted. They're coming up on charges in Illinois and California. And Countrywide is the biggest target, so they're the first ones they're going to go after. And certainly other states will bail on. But they were also the largest player to create the stated mortgages.
Right.
And stated mortgages were initially created for a good reason, to allow mortgage to be available for low to moderate income buyers. They took
basically, you didn't have to say how much you made, where you made it, or even if you made it.
Yes, but they were so attractive in terms of the yield and what they could sell them for on Wall Street. That's what they did. So they pushed that product so hard that a lot of the other banks started to copy that product.
But again, if you start freezing rates, you're going to reward the people who, A, couldn't afford the homes that they're now living in. Why should I, as a renter, subsidize people in their homes at all? I don't want to freeze the rates. I don't want government intervention at all. I want housing prices and real estate to come down.
Because I got cash ready to buy. I'll let you answer it.
Probably the same
everybody's
answer.
Heard my answer
Rebecca,
on this
it's the same answer. The challenge with that is, look what we're left with now. You have communities being abandoned.
And they're you got government intervention anyway. You're already taxing, and it's not stopping the problem.
But how much?
Government
We don't know how much
there needs to be a pause in this environment. Okay, we're in a downturn. There needs to be a pause to stabilize it, so people can get back on their feet. Look at the mortgages again in 3 years. Look at the value of it.
Do you think the government could take a step that would actually create your pause?
I think the government, unless we're going to be in a position we're going to be bailing out another Bear Stearns or someone like that. That's the option. That's where we're headed.
Richard, let me ask, since you specialize in UrbanAmerica, that's where you focus a lot of your efforts. How is all this whole changing dynamic in the housing market will affect, who's going to be hurt most? The suburban areas or the urban areas, and which will benefit long term?
Yeah, clearly the suburban markets are suffering terribly. That with the foreclosures in those homes, the transportation costs, the lack of new buyers coming into the suburban markets, they're going to be hurt long term. The cities, the towns in the suburban areas don't have the tax revenues to run their communities any longer. So the urban market will benefit clearly in the short term and the long term. That's set up to happen finally. I think it's really going to accelerate. I don't know what the answer is for the suburbs. They're going to have to become much more focused in being total communities in terms of where they live and be able to sustain themselves. But the loss of equity, the loss of wealth of the American public is something we don't even fully understand at this point.
And do you not think that the renters and the people making minimum wage need some sort of their own type of bailout/stimulus package? We need to just take care of the rich homeowners and not the people paying rent.
Not all homeowners are rich.
Anybody who's rich enough to own a home is rich.
That's not
they
true.
own land. That's by definition they own real estate.
Yeah, well, we just had that. You just had the tax rebate from President Bush. And where did it show up? It showed up in people paying their energy bills and their overdue credit cards. So perhaps when the next administration gets in there, we have a change in administration, we have some new leadership.
Let's punish the homeowners and help the renters. How about that for a stimulus package?
Richmond, McCoy, thank you very much. Good to see you.